Welcome back, guys. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. It is Friday, April 25th. I hope you're all enjoying your Friday and getting things kicked off and ready for the weekend, whether you work, whether you play, whether you rest, whatever you're going to be out there doing, enjoy your weekend. It's an epic Friday. We last night on our second show, we broke some news about a judge who was arrested. We got another judge who was arrested today. We're going to break that down. We're going to tell you a little bit about her background and how she's been an activist judge for quite a while. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me jump over here to some of the comments really quick. If you would, please share this out. Hit that thumbs up. It really helps us out. Susan's in the house. Micro Taz, how are you doing, Micro Taz? We got old Uncle Bill. How are you doing? Trina in the house. Thank you. Texas Bigfoot, aka TBF. Let's see what else we got here. Let's go down. Pixie, you guys know what that means. I'm not even going to tell you anymore. If you do it, that's $5 on me. So I'm glad. Let's see. Cade in Texas. Hey, y'all. Hope your Friday is doing well. I'm telling you, Cade, right now, it is doing great when we see that activist judges, rogue judges, are being arrested. It's just great news, and the left is flipping out. And by the way, this is what I voted for, guys. Kimber's in the house. Debbie, Stuff and Audiobook, Sugar Bear, Bev A, Dell. Thank you guys once again for being in here. Appreciate you. What an awesome day today. I mean, the last 24 hours. You know, a lot of people have been given some thought to, man, when I voted, I just wanted to see, the hammer come down, right? And recently, over the last couple weeks, up until a couple days ago, a lot of people were saying, you know what? They were happy with what Trump was doing. Don't get me wrong. But they were a little disappointed in Kash Patel. And not everybody, not me. Now Pam Bondi, she started out with me on a scale of 1 to 10 at about a 7.5. She moved to about a 5.5, but she's starting to move back up there. We have some things we need to, we need to go after, folks. And I realize it takes time. There's investigations. With every judge in the world going after the Trump administration, you have to make sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. But it's and then over the last couple days, we've been hearing different people in the party say, hey, arrests are coming. Arrests are coming. And now we are seeing it. We had a judge yesterday, the judge in New Mexico. We'll talk about it again. We've covered that story, that was harboring a TDA gang member. After there was a ICE raid on his home, he resigned. I think it was March 5th or March 3rd. He resigned and he was arrested yesterday. We have another judge arrested today. And we've been hearing and covering stories over the last couple months since Trump has been in his office. Not only do we have judges obstructing our law enforcement. We have our elected leaders, we have mayors, we have governors, all working against the will of the American people, putting illegal aliens that broke into our country ahead of American citizens. A good example, and I know this is kind of far fetched, but AOC holding classes for illegals on how to avoid police. We have these groups that we've been covering in LA and everywhere else that are protesting ICE when they're down there on the streets. And then they themselves are obstructing and harboring. So maybe we're going to, maybe, you know what? I'll say take a couple days off of arresting illegals and let's go arrest all the people that are tyrants. How about that? So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that today. It's a little chilly here today. You know what? We've been telling you guys for the last, I don't know. We talk about it all year long. It is rodeo weekend here in Clovis, and we're going to the rodeo tomorrow. Go to the parade in the morning. Then we got T-ball, and then we got the rodeo. So we got a packed Saturday. It's going to be fun. Great time with the family. But it's going to be raining, it says. Not too much. But then again, here's my thing. I meant to tell this to Rach. When it says there's a chance of rain, it usually pours. When it says it's, light rain, it usually pours. When they say expect like 1.3 inches, we get a couple drizzles. Well, they're saying it's supposed to be light rain. So we've been to the rodeo. We've been to the parade, both in the rain in the past. Again, it doesn't rain that often here, rodeo weekend. I can only remember one time in like the last 20 years. Our rain season is pretty much over. We have a saying here, April showers bring May flowers. So it does sprinkle here in April, but we'll see how that goes. We're excited, get to watch the rodeo and check out the parade in the morning. I might be live for just the parade, not me, but the parade. I think the last couple years we've live streamed the Clovis parade, and it's a great time. It's a great time. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, guys, because I am excited. I am excited. So check this out. Hannah Duggan, an open borders activist judge, had previously served as the executive director of Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Milwaukee before her judicial career. She worked with legal aid organizations and held this leadership role at Catholic Charities. And I put down, these organizations have used your tax dollars to fund the invasion of our borders and put illegal aliens ahead of American citizens. So this right here, this was my post from a couple hours ago. Milwaukee judge Hannah Duggan arrested by FBI for allegedly helping undocumented immigrants Eduardo Flores Ruiz evade ICE on April 18th. She reportedly misdirected agents, sparking obstruction charges. This follows a tense FBI probe as Trump's DOJ cracks down on local defiance of immigration laws. Good news. Good news. So we got some little information again. So before this person, this person sat on Catholic Charities. Now, we've covered Catholic Charities. We covered the NGO that, has gotten hundreds of millions of your tax dollars year after year. And those tax dollars didn't go to help American citizens. Those tax dollars go all the way South America, and help people to get into the United States. They are literally directing these folks how to get here. We've been to multiple Catholic Charities through the times. They harbor illegal aliens, and they use your tax dollars to put them in your communities. These are people that have not been vetted. We don't know why they're here. They don't have a reason to be here. Their asylum cases are fake. Actually, Catholic Charities, their volunteers and their people that are paid have helped coach illegal aliens on what to say. They offer them legal services, everything else. while American veterans suffer, while American homelessness is on the rise, some of the highest homelessness we've seen in this country. And I'm telling you right now, guys, to arrest in 24 hours is a good thing. And we're going to get into it a little bit more. But once again, she was let's see, where'd my post go? Let me go to my original post. She was the executive director of Catholic Charities of Milwaukee. Before her judicial career, she worked with legal aid organizations. Now, when we talk about legal aid organizations, these organization focuses on what they call immigration issues. So people that break into the country and have no business being here, they support them, work with them so that they can't be deported. They coach them on rights that they should not have. I'm sorry, I don't believe that if you break into this country, you should have any rights. I believe our rights should be for American citizens. Let me show you some other stuff. This was from Attorney General Pam Bondi. I can confirm that our FBI agents arrested Hannah Dugan, a county judge in Milwaukee, for allegedly helping an illegal alien avoid arrest by ICE.gov. So you're seeing a little shift here. Now I'm looking online, and most of you, all of you probably, are like, hell yes. Thank you. Thank you. You know, you wouldn't expect a judge to do if I had a warrant and I was at Fresno County Jail and the ICE agents are the police were there to arrest me. Could you imagine the judge saying, hey, go over this way, or telling the agents, yeah, he's going to be over there, when damn well knowing that's not the case? I couldn't imagine that. I think it's just crazy. Listen to CNN right here.
Court about these charges, helping local judge, Milwaukee County Court. She was arrested on courthouse grounds where she works at about 8:30 this morning, taken into custody, appearing before the federal court about these charges, helping an immigrant from Mexico try to escape federal immigration authorities. The story of how that happened, it all took place on April 18th. That man, a man named Eduardo Flores Ruiz, he was in her court for a domestic violence charge, according to the court records. And at the hearing, the immigration authorities from the federal government were waiting to apprehend him for these immigration removal proceedings. But Judge Dugan, according to the court record against her, became visibly angry, commented that the situation was absurd, left the bench, entered chambers, and then escorted later Flores Ruiz through a jury door so that he would avoid his arrest by federal immigration authorities. That is according to the Justice Department in federal court. Flores Ruiz has also been apprehended. He appeared in court yesterday for trying for the re-entry proceedings. Local judge.
Yeah, you know, Democrats are really upset. We're going to show you some posts. They're trying to compare Trump's administration to Hitler. Well, that's what Hitler did. He arrested judges too. You guys are absolutely insane. These people are criminals. He was already in, you know, it's funny because the left stated for the longest time, and the reason why they can state this is because we have insufficient data. Because we have sanctuary city policies in sanctuary states, we don't report illegal alien crime. So the illegal aliens that commit no crime were in court for domestic violence. Seems like that's a crime, and it's a pretty serious crime according to the left. And again, we've seen this somewhere before. We covered a story about 3 months ago where they did this stuff too. And there was charges being filed. I don't think the judge was necessarily arrested, but again, allowing somebody who's on trial for domestic violence to flee federal law enforcement. This is, to me, a pretty big crime. We also have some other stuff coming up right here. I want you to listen to this video. Again, when we go into this stuff, we try to get pretty in depth. This is our main story today. Some of the other stuff is Clown World Friday stuff, but I'm going to show you some videos and take some time trying to understand this judge and listen to what she says.
But also how we grow. The law is a real challenge in making sure that justice happens for people. It's transformative in people's lives, but it also, especially in the United States, it's considered a stabilizing force. It's something that keeps us on a constant path. The rule of law is how we address our social issues, how we address our disputes, but also how we grow as people. The rule of law is premised on equal justice, but also we have evolved into due process. And it's really the due process. I, as a person who for a couple decades almost represented low-income people, it is due process that really equalizes those differences between people. If we follow the rule of law, which includes processing our cases in an orderly manner, in a predictable manner,
if you followed the rule of law,
manner, in a manner that holds people to standards, then we're able to achieve that equal justice that we are promised and hope to have continue despite our differences, despite our class differences, despite our racial and religious differences. The Milwaukee Courthouse has for decades been known to really attempt innovations. It has been an innovator in what we call the problem-solving courts, the therapeutic courts. 3 decades ago, it was one of the first in the nation to set up a domestic violence court. It now has a veterans court and a drug therapy court, a mental health court. These are termed as problem-solving courts. Apply the traditional law, but also look at solutions that are more complicated because these cases that involve, say, veterans or mental health patients or children are more complicated than what the law can address. The solutions or the sanctions or the punishment or the sentences are fashioned more towards addressing the global issues involved in the case, such as violence or mental health issues or drug treatment issues, rather than punishing outright. Working with nonprofits has taught me that it really requires a focus, a mission focus, that you want to achieve something. You identify a problem, or you identify the need, or you identify something to celebrate, and work around that, having boards come together, having them be organized, and that's what I do as an attorney, and that's what I've done in terms of my work on transition management of nonprofits. I've helped them organize that. What's happened in more recent years is this real effort to have true collaborations with the other sectors, with the private sector and with the government sector. And nonprofits, I think they're very valuable because what they contribute is that they do the work that neither government nor private sectors are prepared to do with it.
So nonprofits, big fan of nonprofits and NGOs. Obviously, she was, again, we told you about her connections to Catholic Charities and other style nonprofits that worked with what they call immigrants, what we know as illegal aliens. She also she said how she used the law to advance social change for those who are most vulnerable. We use that word vulnerable a lot to make victims out of people. We do it for, the LGBT is vulnerable. They need a flag. They need a parade. They need they need to have what they do and how they perform sex acts in your child's school because they're vulnerable. This is no different than what we're seeing everywhere else in the country. Listen to MSNBC talk about this. A little bit of skepticism here, but it seems like I'm going to talk about that
over and over again over the past several weeks. Now, veterans
have taken the extraordinary step to arrest a judge for allegedly obstructing an immigration arrest. Let's get right to NBC's Gary Grumbach, who has been trying to work on getting this reporting for us. What do we know?
So what we know right now is that over the past several days and weeks, we've seen videos of people being arrested at courthouses by Department of Homeland Security officials when they show up for hearings to adjudicate their immigration status. And that is something we've seen over and over again over the past several weeks. Now, veteran circuit court judge up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, her name is Hannah Dugan. She's now being accused of trying to help out an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest. And I want to read to you FBI Director Kash Patel's tweet. He says in part, quote, "Just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week." He says, going on saying, "We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, who they call an illegal alien, to evade arrest." Now, they say that this individual was eventually arrested by DHS officials. This is something that is just developing, Anna, and we have not yet seen any court documents in this case, but we are awaiting further news on this topic. Anna?
Again, I know how fresh this is, Gary, but do we know how unusual is a situation like this for feds to arrest a judge?
Well, this is incredibly unusual. This is certainly not something we saw during the Biden administration, not even something we saw during the first Trump administration. But with the increase of importance of immigration as a priority to the Trump administration this time, this is what we have started to see. This is the very first time we've ever seen a judge arrested like this. But seeing these on-camera videos of arrests at courthouses of immigrants that are there to adjudicate their immigration status is certainly new here, Anna.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of telling. Let's take away from this whole picture here and this judge that was, aiding and abetting an illegal alien is pretty much what I see it as. But they said, we don't see judges being arrested. No, because we've been in a circumstance for a long time. Do you think judges break the law? I do. We know they do. Why hasn't there been arrest? That's the shift we need in the country. Now, these are, according to the left, the elitists, right? These judges making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, these white-collar criminals. And now that we actually have some arrests coming towards them, they're freaking out. Well, we've never seen this. We didn't see this under Biden's administration. No, of course you didn't see this under Biden's administration. Biden had Mayorkas down at the border ensuring that the flow was going properly so we could get 10 to 15,000 illegals a day. They wanted to overwhelm the system. It's amazing. We can't do anything to prevent it. They even blame climate change. But when you think about it, Trump got in there and now we have the lowest numbers ever recorded on illegal crossings. Now I want to ask you guys another question. Just food for thought. Does this put fear in some people? Is there some other judges or maybe directors of NGOs, maybe some city leaders, mayors, maybe a mayor of Chicago that's sitting here saying, uh-oh, am I next? Or are they pretty confident that the Democrat machine is going to do everything it can? I mean, we've seen it. Every executive order Trump has done that we voted for, you've had an activist judge overturn it. If for nothing else, just to delay it so it slows down what he can do during his term in the White House as president. Think about that. Think about it. We've covered. There was 3 different rulings yesterday, and I don't have them all on the top of my head. I've slept since then, believe it or not. But 3 different rulings where a judge stopped. One, look, just a good example. Think about how hard it is to get in the military. If you have any injuries or anything like that, they don't want you. If you have bone spurs, they don't want you. But if you have a mental illness and you want to have a sex change, they're like, come right in. And this administration's like, well, there's something wrong here, that we can't do this. We want war-ready people. All right, let's sign an executive order. Let's get the Department of Defense to issue this. Activist judge, no, you must have trans people in the military. It's crazy. It's crazy. We got some more on this one. Look at this. This is a new video. Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan and her attorney leaving the federal courthouse in Milwaukee and not commenting. So let's see this.
Judge, anything to say
Look
about
at how
this?
she ran to that. Look at that.
Judge, anything to say
Wow.
about this?
She was on one. She looked pissed. Oh,
Judge,
her gravy
Judge,
train's probably coming to an
anything to say?
end. You know what? And in this investigation, a lot more could come out. A lot more. Not just what she did at the bench, but what she did aiding and abetting outside of the bench. Again, if she's involved with Catholic Charities, we know Highest Catholic Charities, Jewish Family Services. Not only were they doing the money laundering scheme for Democrats, they were using your tax dollars to facilitate this invasion, and they've been doing that for a long, long time. Pissed ain't a bad word, Pixie. We could say pissed. We could say damn. We're okay. Unless somebody wants to put $5 in the cuss jar for me, then I'll keep saying it. So look at this. This is a picture of her. And I want to look at what you see that she put on. I'm sorry, some of these judges. This was during COVID. Does this explain enough to you? She's got a mask on, and then she puts a mask on her little statue there. Yeah. It's pretty easy to spot these judges from a pretty far distance. Now let's listen to AG Pam Bondi. I got two different ones. I don't know if they're kind of similar, but we're going to go ahead and play them both. Take a listen to this one.
And to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow, wow, wow. Now, obviously, judges are paid for by our tax dollars. They're supposed to be impartial. They're supposed to rule by the law. And again, when your emotion plays a part, that's the hard thing. And it's a hard thing for anything, for any job, whether you're a police officer or a judge, you have to keep your emotions curtailed. We show you videos all the time of both sides of the story. I'm just going to be honest with you. You have officers that can't keep your emotion in check. And then we'll show you videos of other officers that you're like, that officer probably has no compassion, right? And you got to be somewhere in the middle. Same with judges. I get it that you worked for these nonprofits that were open borders advocates. But when you're sitting on the bench and you got that robe on, you got one job, and that is justice. And as Pam Bondi stated right there, this person was already deported, came back into the country illegally, is alleged to beat up 2 people, hit a guy 30 times, then beat up a female. These are the people Democrats are fighting for. These are the people that Democrats are flying to other countries to sip margaritas with MS-13 gang members. This is where we are at. When we said, and I've said this quite a few times, but I remember when I started doing a lot of stuff after Biden got in, and I didn't think so much this, I thought it was repairable. But I said, are we too far gone? We've lost our courts. We've seen that with the J6ers. That was quite obvious. And many other cases, but I'm just using the J6ers because, again, we've been on top of that we were there on January 6th. We've been following that whole story. But when you look at all these things, you look at, what Democrats did during COVID. Just unconstitutional. Shut down churches, shut down your freedom of speech, put curfews in. And we sat there and thought, wow, are we too far gone? And I said, how many of those judges are activist judges? And we're starting to see that more and more. Really quick before we move on, let me pull this up. If you're looking for a great place online for news, discussion, and entertainment, then check out Truth Social, Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news stories and commentary from top media figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social post, then get on Truth Social today. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voices heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social. Hey, I'm telling you, if you're not on there, get on there for, if anything, just to check out Trump's truths. They're epic. Now, I got another video with her. It might kind of have the same stuff, but I'll show you that in a minute. Wait, what did I miss? I thought I had another one. Maybe I didn't. Oh, okay. Yes, I do have another one coming up. So, this is what people are putting out. Again, the talking point. Hitler arrested a bunch of judges in his first year too, by the way. So again, this is what I mean. When we take justice, they're gonna try to twist it. They're gonna try to spin it. They had no problems with January 6ers not getting their constitutional rights, being put in solitary confinement. The same party that said we need prison reform and everything up was lock them up for life, put them on solitary confinement, take away their phone privileges. And so what we are seeing now is kind of a spin-off from that. Let me see what else. Before we move on, let me see. I'm going to show you just a couple. Here's County Executive David Crowley. Milwaukee County Executive. Listen to what he says. Like all United States citizens, Judge Hannah Duggan is entitled to her constitutional right to due process. However, it is clear that the FBI is politicizing this situation to make an example of her and others across the country who oppose their attack on the judicial system and our nation's immigration laws. So, one thing, we do have immigration laws. That these people are acting like these people didn't break the law. They're acting like they're American citizens, that they get the same thing that American citizens get. No, that is not the truth. And no, it's not being politicized. You're actually finally seeing the hammer come down and you're seeing justice being done, hopefully. It says FBI Director Kash Patel issued a public statement on X, which he hurriedly deleted, making unsubstantiated claims about Judge Duggan's case before charges were officially filed and she could have her moment in court. Director Patel's statement shows that Trump's FBI is more concerned about weaponizing federal law enforcement. Anybody want to talk about weaponizing federal law enforcement? We've seen it. We've seen the Christians. We've seen people attacked for free speech for standing outside of a Planned Parenthood. My house was raided. My family was taken out at gunpoint. You know how many other houses were done that was done to during Joe Biden's reign? People that didn't break the law. So please spare me. Spare me when you say this is politically motivated or this is about weaponization. We've seen weaponization. We have proof of weaponization. We had the government working with big tech to silence people like you and me on everything from COVID to the election fraud in 2020. So please spare me. And maybe this is what that tipping point's going to need to be. Honestly, like I said, we need to have 10,000 officers out on the streets over the next couple of weeks just making arrests that are long overdue. I'm sure this county executive, David Crowley, is probably one of them. Let's see what else we got. Look at this one. What? Congress, where are you? The executive cannot arrest a federal judge for carrying out the law as he interprets it to be. He didn't interpret law. She violated the law. Had nothing to do with the current case. He was there for a domestic violence case. Federal officials came in there to arrest him because he's a criminal, violent criminal, illegal alien. I know the ones that Democrats want to tout for can't interpret a law that you're not hearing the case on. She was not an immigration judge. But again, these are the stories. This is how they're going to twist things. These are the kind of things that people are going to hear on ABC News. That's why we're doing what we're doing and going through this so thoroughly. Because, again, they won't. She was part of Catholic Charities. Again, what they call a resettlement program. That's what they call it. We call an invasion program, and she was really big on this. How about this one? Rep. Gwen Moore, Congresswoman Gwen Moore's statement on the arrest of Judge Hannah Duggan. I'm aware of the reports that Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Hannah Duggan was arrested by the FBI this morning. This administration's willingness to weaponize federal law enforcement is shocking, and this arrest has all the hallmarks of overreach. Federal law enforcement coming into a community and arresting a judge is a serious matter and require high legal bar. I will be following this case closely and facts will come out. However, I am very alarmed at this increasing lawless action of the Trump administration and in particular ICE, who have been defying courts and acting with disregard for the Constitution. No. You had no problem. You had no problem when Joe Biden was ignoring the Constitution, when he was allowing $10,000 to $15,000 a day, 10 to 15,000 illegals a day. I won't tell you how much that is in billions a day that was costing us. Pulling Border Patrol from stopping fentanyl traffic, have them making sandwiches and giving water. There's a lot of people that need to go down, and I hope yesterday was the start of those dominoes, because this is what I voted for. So what else did I vote for yesterday in our second show? It was a premium show. Thank you to all our premium members that came in and joined us. We appreciate you. Judge Cannon, Joel Cano, Judge Joel Cano, which was the judge where his home was raided at the end of February. He was harboring an MS-13 gang member. Literally, there's pictures of him hanging out with gang members and everything else. I mean, this story is just crazy. Then, beginning of March, he resigns. Well, yesterday, he was arrested as well. Take a look at this. There's his wife. So again, through these investigations, I think we're going to learn a lot, and Democrats will defend it. If he drove into Mexico to bring them across, Democrats will defend that. You just had Democrats fly to El Salvador for a human trafficking gangbanger that was deported. The Maryland man, the Maryland dad. And I think if you guys were here with us, I think it was yesterday, the day before, we shared that those kids weren't even his. They were calling him the Maryland dad. He just wants to get back to his kids. They're not even his. It's incredible what we're seeing right now. Just some of the pictures that are out there. Look at this. All right, show you this. Like, that's the judge. Like, he's standing, he's leaning like a cholo. He's like one of the homies right here. And again, different strokes for different folks, I guess. But when I go into court, I see a proper, respectful judge. That's just what I picture. Now, what they do on their own time, obviously he was breaking the law. Whatever you do on your own time is your thing, as long as it's doesn't break the ethics, the boundaries, everything like that. But I mean, this dude's hanging out with TDA gang members. I can't quite comprehend this one. There's got to be a money trail. There's got to be something more to this story. Because I'm just going to tell you, your peers are usually people that you align with, right? So if I have a barbecue at my house, it's my friends and family. Now, my friends are obviously people I've built relationships. How did I build relationships? I guess through some of them through working, through prior jobs, some of them through activism. A lot of my friends are activists. You guys know that. But I don't have TDA gang members at my barbecue in my backyard because, again, that would insinuate that I am somehow involved in that, right? You are what you hang around with. How many times did your parents tell you that? How many times did I tell my kids that? Well, you want to stay out of trouble? Stop hanging out with trouble. I think the next one here is Pam Bondi on this one here.
The associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home. He was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims, victims, decapitated, gruesome photos. And he was sending them out. And whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring.
A judge. Like, if there's any judges out there that want to go give away their daughter's guns, you can email me at oreoexpress@yahoo.com. This is beyond crazy. This guy has some serious ties to something else. This has to go much deeper than this. And I'll show you that video. I'll show you the video.
I mean, when you
I don't know if
look
we've
at
played that video of the. Let me see. Here it is. That's a nice piece right there, too. So, again, where is the left? Where are the Democrats that hate guns and want to remove them, especially those evil AR-15s? And here you have a judge giving one of those guns to a TDA gang member going out to a firing range with other TDA gang members. Where's the left? Where's the outrage? This is how you know that all the outrage over the Second Amendment, everything is manufactured. They don't care if an illegal gang member is getting guns from a judge. I'm just telling you guys, in any normal freaking world, this would be, David Muir would be coming on the news breaking. New Mexico judge gives TDA member his daughter's assault rifle. That's their term. It's not an assault rifle. I'm using their term. The more we learn, guys, this is what I'm saying. Let me ask you a question. Think about this for a second. What if 65% of the judges are like this? Because we always hear these stories about pedophiles getting off, child rapists getting off, gang members getting off. We always talk about California, how they're so soft on crime, where these Democrats, our Democrat majority here, super majority of Democrats here in California, continue to legalize crime, essentially. I mean, are we too far gone? Are we too far gone? Can this change without a civil uprising? Can this change without a civil uprising? I don't know. I want to pray and I hope it can. But how many other judges have armed MS-13, TDA, hell, the regular Bloods and Crips? I mean, LA, Fresno. Do we have judges that are just bought and paid for somehow by the cartels and these gangs? That insane. And then the judge he pulled a Hillary Clinton. Listen to this one more time. Listen to this one more time. Listen to what this judge did. This is a judge who took an oath, who's supposed to be working equal justice under the law, actual justice, putting criminals behind bars. Listen to this. This is insane.
Associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home. He was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, he got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to.
You don't do that. Like, I'll be honest. I'm sure there's a lot of gang members and things like that with incriminating stuff. But to have a judge smash a phone and then walk it to a city dumpster to discard, this guy should be doing some serious time in jail. I mean, if you don't agree with me, what's wrong with you? I mean, these are what we are seeing right now. I don't understand it, how Democrats are defending this behavior, folks. This is not your 80s liberal anymore, guys. When I say this, and it's not offensive, it's not meant to be offensive to those who just haven't woken up yet, that still say, well, I was raised a Democrat, I'm always going to be a Democrat, we just need to get our party back in line. No, you are part of the problem. Your registration alone says you support this, that you're okay with this. You know what? How many other, I mean, this probably isn't the first time this guy did this. How many other folks has this guy helped out? Gang members. How many criminals in his community has he been bought off and paid for? That is absolutely scary, guys. You just got to look at the world a little different. So we're going to move on a little bit. Again, as I said at the beginning of the show, there's been a lot of criticism on some of the FBI's part for not doing this faster. And saying, how come we haven't seen arrests? We don't care if we know the story. I think is mainly the MAGA movement. They don't want the story. They want the arrest and the prosecution. Understandable. I agree. Listen to what Tulsi Gabbard said right here regarding some of the leakers.
Based on the result that we've seen through their leaks to the Washington Post, the New York Times.
You're finding this out. So you found people who seem motivated to undermine the president.
Yeah. When we look at the examples that I've seen just in the short time that I've been in this position, what they consist of is essentially very selectively friends in the propaganda media that twist and manipulate intelligence directly to undermine the president's policies and his aggressive work to keep the American people safe.
So does that third person know that you're zeroing in on them?
I don't know if they know, but these are the first 3 investigations. We are referring to the Department of Justice. There are more that we are continuing to, investigations we're continuing
internally. Can you give me the nature of what they did, and will we know their names?
I can't get into detail now because of the criminal investigations that the FBI will be conducting. But in each one of these examples, I can tell you we know that the intent, based on the result that we've seen through their leaks to the Washington Post, the New York Times, and other outlets, Huffington Post and others, has been directly to undermine President Trump and the work that he's doing.
So, again, just praying that the hammer will drop, that they get these people. This was also released today. Again, there's been a lot of cuts. We're cutting the fat out of a lot of these departments. We have departments we don't need. We have departments doing double the work. It's just crazy how bloated our bureaucracy is. And this came out earlier. It said Defense Secretary, breaking news, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ended the service of all committee members on the DOD advisory committees. This would include seats held by Susan Rice. It says Hegseth thanked the members for their work, but said changes are needed to align with the department's new goals and to use resources more effectively. They are going to crap. And there's Susan Rice right there. So ending the service of all committee members. Again, you don't need that. You don't need the committee members. You got a president of the United States who has a directive. We want our people in the Army, Navy, all these Marines. Their job is one thing: to be killing machines when need be. Not to go transition, but to protect this country and be the greatest fighters on this earth. And we have lost that, and we're going to be bringing it back. In other news today, hey guys, and don't forget, we are 100% viewer funded. If you guys would like to help us out, it looks like Deborah, thank you, Deborah Taz, says, gave a $25 donation, and it says, Happy Friday. And we appreciate you, Taz. Thank you for being with us and always listening while at work. Shh, won't tell nobody. Don't tell anybody. But if you guys want to help out, we appreciate it. We got bills piling up. As always, cost of traveling. We were gone, I think, what I say, 2,400 miles in the last week and a half. We've been gone and doing things, and we want to say thank you for, again, your blessings of allowing us to do this. If you want to help out, Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $ Oreo Army. We also have givesendgo.com/Oreo 2024. And we have a Zelle link on our website. If you use the bank transfer app Zelle, go to theoreoexpress.com. There's a donate now button on there, and it has all our links, including Zelle. So we want to say thank you for your help. Thank you more than you know. So George Santos, this was a KTLA report. George Santos sentenced to more than 7 years in prison. Now, I can tell you, I'm not a fan of George Santos. I don't know why some of you are. I thought he was a big distraction. I thought he was a fake, a phony, and a fraud. But because he screamed Trump and MAGA, people got behind him. That doesn't mean, because I dislike the guy, that this was a fair sentence. He got the maximum sentence, and I think it was to send a message, again, to MAGA, if you will. But he was sentenced to more than 7 years today. And the dude was, you want to talk about a whack job. George Santos was a whack job. And I'm glad the party's rid of him, at least for now. Old Uncle Bill in here. Old Uncle Bill, he might be smiling a little today. Yeah, old Uncle Bill's in here. And I think it's kind of interesting. I was looking at this today. Tesla stock. 285.30 up, 38 up $25 just today. Remember back when we said, hey, now's time to buy. It's not going to stay down forever. Not Tesla. It's been on a gradual move, but just today up $25 in 5 days, up $55. Look at that spike there that shot up. Again, we had Tim Walsh and others, laughing and poking fun at an American corporation that was losing stock value because of Democrats, because people were scared. They wanted people scared to buy Teslas. If you buy a Tesla and you go to the store, we're going to key your car. That was Democrats, guys. Many of them have been arrested. I believe usually on Friday we only have one show, but I believe we're going to have an afternoon show today if everything gets taken care of. I got a lot to do, and I'm still working with this. We have a nonprofit that we're getting revamped, and probably next week we'll release some details on that. But it's just we'll talk about some of the other Tesla stuff going on in the next show, most likely. So Trump heading to Rome for the Pope's funeral. Check this out.
So we're leading and going to Rome, where we'll be attending the funeral of Pope Francis. Some of you are going to go. Anybody going? And it's going to be very interesting. We're going to meet with a lot of the foreign leaders. They want to meet. Trade deals are going very well. I think Russia and Ukraine, I think they're coming along, we hope. Very fragile. And Iran, I think, is going very well. We'll see what happens. We're working on plenty of things that shouldn't be worked on, because none of this stuff should have happened. This should have been taken place by Biden. It should have been fixed by Biden, but he couldn't do it, nor could he come close to doing. So anyway, we're going to Rome to pay our respects, and we'll be leaving that same day. We'll be coming back home tomorrow night.
So I also heard, I don't think there's a big statement issue, but I think Joe Biden will also be attending that. I want to bring this up because we talk about a lot. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but Gavin Newsom put out this post because, again, they got to attack everything RFK Jr., anybody in the Trump administration's doing. We put a lot of money behind affirming mental illness instead of fixing mental illness, getting to the core root of what's wrong with some of these people. And Governor Gavin Newsom put this out, and he said suicide is the second leading cause of death among LGBTQ youth. It's indefensible that HHS Gov Secretary Kennedy is reportedly planning to remove LGBTQ specific youth counseling from the National 988 suicide line. Now, I guess what my problem is here. Democrats want you to believe that Christians are the responsible ones for the death of these LGBTQP youth. So a lot of times, especially when it comes to the trans issue, there is a severe mental breakdown. And instead of saying, hey, we have an issue. I mean, in California, if your kid identifies as trans and you're a parent and you say no and the school finds out, they will remove that child from your home. Child services will come in and say, you're not affirming this child's gender, and now it's ward of the state. I mean, you want to talk about Hitler, you know, like the left likes to talk about. You want to talk about tyrant. That is tyrant. But he was referring to a Politico article, and I don't know if that's even true. I didn't even go into the details, but just that headline. Why we hear at multiple board meetings that being LGBTQT, whatever, trans, is no different from living a normal life. They're happy, they're productive. And then why is suicide rates among them so high? And I know the left, oh, that's because you're wearing a make women female again shirt. Well, no, people wear shirts that I might not like. I don't go out and do anything. And we have worked so hard in California to ensure that these people don't get the proper mental health help they need. And it's just crazy. And he also posted this. While the Trump administration walks away from its responsibility, California will continue to expand access to life-saving resources because the life of every child, listen to this, straight, gay, trans, is worth fighting for. This man supports Planned Parenthood that kills a lot more children than what happens from suicide. So don't tell me because of the life of every child, you don't care about children. You care about a cult. That's what you care about, Gavin Newsom. And it's disgusting. Again, and Californians, be prepared. We've been warning you for quite a while. As funding and things drop, especially from woke programs, Gavin Newsom is going to use your tax dollars. California is going to be taxed more and more and more. Your tax dollars are going to be used to fill that gap. You mark my words. We're already, what, $70-something billion in the hole in California? It's just crazy. Really quick, let me throw this up there. And then we got one that's not so good. Weak coffee is for the weak. And at Rumble, weak has never been part of the mission. No fillers, no fraud, and no settling for mediocrity. Just like 1775 coffee. It's single origin, small farm, hand-picked, specialty-grade coffee that stands for quality, free speech, and calling out BS when it matters. Forget stale, mass-produced beans roasted just enough to hide the flaws. Dark roast hits like a Trump tariff. Medium roast keeps it bold without the bitterness. And Vitality Mushroom Blend, real energy and lasting focus, no synthetic garbage. For K-Cup pods, whole beans, or fresh ground coffee, go to 1775coffee.com. Use code STUDIO for 15% off and start your morning with coffee that stands for something. Oh, and every dollar spent enters you to win a Cybertruck and $30,000 cash. So head over to 1775 Coffee. Give them a shot. I'm a coffee drinker. I got mine right here. Give them a shot. Let me know if you like it. Use promo code STUDIO for 15% off. Let's see, man. This one. This is in California, of course, at a California high school. Take a look at this video. officers are absolutely scared to do their job because of people like Gavin Newsom and the Democrats. That woman in that red tank top getting in the middle and obstructing should be just swiped down to the ground, just a leg kick down to the ground. You have, I don't see, I know they got guns on them. You have batons usually. You have pepper spray. And you have tasers. I know, I don't see anybody that's not an officer that shouldn't have been, one of those things should not have been applied to them. Again, this is why people no longer, you know, just like the military under Joe Biden, once Trump got into the office and he had Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, our numbers skyrocket in recruitment. This is outrageous. I'll be honest, if I was a bystander, I might have cracked one of them over the head for the police. I know I would have done jail time for doing the right thing, but I want you to watch this one more time because your blood should be boiling. Your blood should be boiling. Boom, instantly, grab, throw to the ground, handcuff, call for backup. I'm just telling you, I'm not a cop, but I can tell you, I've seen good cops do their job, and that's exactly what they would have done. And I'm not saying these are bad cops. I'm saying these police officers are in fear of doing their job. Oh, we got a black suspect here. We're racist. This is what the Democrats and the defund the police movement has done. This is why people, I had a buddy that was an officer for a long time, and when all that Black Lives Matter stuff, he could have been an officer for another 15, 20 years without a problem. He was like, I'm done. I'm done. We can't do our jobs out there. He even put out a large Facebook post the day he resigned. It's sickening. Look at, you see her swing on him? Right here, watch this. Boom. Assaulting. I see multiple felonies right now, and I hope they're prosecuted for multiple felonies. And I just want you to understand, guys, this is a high school in California. This is Gavin Newsom's California. Keep voting Democrat, and you'll keep getting more of the same. That one right there. Oh. Man, and I got to watch what I say, but I just through my brain, and this is the frustration, and I don't mean this, but what popped in my head was more bullets, less handcuffs. I'm sorry. This is trash ass animals that need to be locked in a cage. Let's give them solitary confinement for 10 years. They will end up being nothing but probably left-wing activists that are sitting on your tax dollars. I guarantee their families on your tax dollars, everything. They are leeches to society. That's right. Leeches to society. And it's disgusting. I'll be honest, man. I'm glad I don't live in an area like this. I could tell you my police department would have handled that much different. And that's why we voted to increase a sales tax here in Clovis, so that we can ensure that these people aren't on the streets, not only assaulting others, but assaulting police officers. Whew, man. I'm just blessed that I wasn't around to see that. But again, that was at, what high school was that? I mean, Entrepreneur High School. They seem like some entrepreneurs to me. Let's see. This is a different, maybe a wider And again, there's a reason why they didn't interact. They didn't want to lose their job. They're not allowed to do their job. And it's just disgusting. Just disgusting. Pixie says, I've seen cops drag men out of cars less than this. I've been dragged out of a car for less than that. I was dragged through a window one time. I pissed off a cop more than you know. And it was not for I was breaking the law. Trust me, I was breaking the law. My buddy pulled up next to me I used to have a mini truck that I put a lot of money in, took the engine apart. We did a lot. We used to go drag racing. We didn't do sideshows in the middle of the streets. We went out to the country where nobody was, and we would drag race. And my buddy pulled up next to me on Clovis Avenue and Shaw. And interesting story. And I didn't know there was a cop around, and so I start revving my engine. And this thing smoked the tires. It was a very fast drag truck. And when he pulled up, I said, hey, let's race, just joking. And the light turned green, and I just hit it. And I've hit first, second, third gear. I'm still spinning the tires, and this thing's just moving along. And then I see the lights behind me through the cloud of smoke, and I'm like, oh, man. I pull over on a side street. He gets out of his car, and he dragged me through my driver's window. I'm not even lying. And the funny thing is, I didn't get arrested. He called a tow truck because I had airbag suspension on it. It was on the ground. They couldn't figure out how to get it on the tow truck without damaging the truck, so they let me get in the truck and drive it home. That was when I was young and stupid, guys. Young and stupid. Listen to this. You want to talk about how stupid wokeness is? Jamal Bowman. Remember the guy that pulled the fire alarm to prevent a vote from happening on the House floor? Listen to what he says here.
He's gonna slip in the draft. And you're telling me someone like Shador Sanders, because he talk a certain way and because he wears gold chains and his pops is Dion and he don't want to submit to y'all white shit, he's gonna slip in the draft. And you're telling me it's based on the evaluation. Like you didn't watch the games and watch him play.
So he is saying, he's talking about the NFL draft, and I did watch a little bit of it because it was on. We're going to have some crazy ghetto NFL games from some of the people I've seen. But he said he's pretty much saying Jamal Bowman is that he thinks the NFL is rigged against black players because the way he talks, the way he acts. You know what? I've been a Cowboys fan for a long time. And it didn't matter if we were throwing cocaine parties. Those black players were always on the sideline. There used to be a joke that people used to tell me probably, 90s? That there was no lines on the field because our players snorted them all up, and they were still allowed to play. So this guy's just crazy. They look for race baiting wherever they can. So yesterday, we didn't get to cover this yesterday, federal prosecutors officially file intent to seek death penalty on Louis Mangione. He had court today. We're going to get into that. We're going to show you, we've been seeing that people wearing the Luigi stuff, supporting Luigi, women just going over him, thinking he's a hero for ambushing a CEO of a company, shooting him in the back of the head, like just an absolute scumbag Luigi is. So Luigi enters a plea of not guilty on federal charges. He will face the trial, but look outside the courtroom, a little something, a little different. Check this out. We recognize who that is right there. Looks like we got an electric chair with Luigi in the electric chair.
I'm gonna take
got Lebedo right there. Right his ass, right?
Enough with this pussyfooting around. So fuck him and fuck all you supporters. Get a fucking job. My son.
Can you tell us who you are?
Scott Lebedo, artist activist.
How do you spell Lebedo?
L-O, capital B-A-I-D-O.
I love it. I love it, guys. That is epic. Good old Scott. Good old Scott. We've seen him, met him a couple of times down. I want you to listen to this. This was out, I believe, a town hall with Senator Jon Ossoff, who wants to overturn the will of the voters. Listen to the comment he makes in response to one of the libtards that are speaking.
I have kids that attend Title I. So you keep saying that there isn't a magic button.
Yeah.
And I recognize that you're a senator and not in the House. And everything that Trump is doing is leading us down an authoritative rule. Why are there no calls for impeachment? This is unacceptable. I will not live in an authoritative country, and neither will any of these people. You can do more. Think outside the box. He needs to be impeached. I will not live like this. My dad is retired full-bird Army colonel. My parents are healthcare. I have a son with autism. I have kids that attend Title I school. Do you think that there's nothing can be done? No. Do something more. I like you, and I will vote for you if you are brave and you do what we need. We need him impeached. We need him removed.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. There is no doubt that this president's conduct has already exceeded any prior standard for impeachment by the United States House of Representatives. I mean, I saw just 48 hours ago, he is granting audiences to people who buy his meme coin. Did you guys see this? So it is, in our corrupt political system, it is a standard practice, tragically, for elected officials to grant audiences and time to people in exchange for campaign contributions. He is granting audiences to people who purchase the meme coin that directly enriches him. So, where is everybody who was so furious about Hunter Biden's paintings? Which, by the way, I do not defend. When the sitting president of the United States is selling.
If he doesn't defend Hunter Biden selling those paintings, where was he speaking against it? Again, the hypocrisy is just great when you listen to these folks.
Access for what are effectively payments directly to him. There is no question that that rises to the level of an impeachable offense. And the reality is that that's just one of many. defying a federal court order, for example. So I agree with you. But as I said at the beginning, I also have no choice but to be candid with you about the situation that we face and the tools that are at our disposal. As strongly as I agree with you, ma'am. And I regret if this is an unwelcome response, but my job is to be honest with you. The only way to achieve what you want to achieve is to have a majority in the United States House of Representatives. And believe me, I'm working on it every single day. And I want to work creatively with you to identify more solutions, more that I can do.
So they just want to overturn the will of the American voter. That's all they want to do. This is what we've seen is what we voted for. I wanted to, yesterday we also mentioned about the investigation going on with Act Blue now, with foreign money coming into our elections and everything else. President Trump signed a memorandum to investigate this. And listen to CNN really quick. Listen to CNN.
Thank you. Up next, a massive new database to see them dig those up.
Let's also acknowledge the irony of somebody who campaigned for a year on against the so-called weaponization of the Justice Department, using it literally as a political weapon to go after your political opponents, Democrats in this case, and talk about a chilling effect that you mentioned earlier, and try to wipe out Democrats' ability to raise those small dollar donations.
Bingo. That was the point I was trying to make, and you just said it in 10 seconds, per usual. Thank you. Up next, a massive new database to see them dig those up.
Let's also acknowledge.
They're so worried about the DOJ investigating this again, because CNN is an arm of the Democrat Party. They do their dirty work for them. But I seen this, and I wanted you guys to hear this. It speaks for itself. I don't even need to give it an intro. Take a listen.
To call Trump Hitler is to call over 80 million Americans, 35% of Jewish Americans, 56% of Hispanic men, and the majority of Americans who make under $100,000 a year, Nazis, because those are the people who gave Donald Trump his victory. And I just have a pro tip for any Democrats who are thinking about winning back the working class, those people who make under $100,000 a year, who a majority of whom voted for Trump. You should have a visceral disgust for someone like Larry David, who's worth $400 million, sitting there and sneering and smearing the hardest working Americans for refusing to co-sign their own disinheritance. That's effectively what they are doing when these millionaires come out here and call Trump Hitler. They are calling working class Americans Nazis because they chose the person they thought would give their children back the future they were promised by this country. And it just has to stop. And you know what? Honestly, I don't care if the Democrats get this or don't, but because this is a big part of why they have lost.
Couldn't agree more. To hear that on CNN, you should see the faces of some of the folks on CNN. Just absolutely epic. All right, guys. So there's some things that might be going on later. We might do another show. It's looking like 90% yes. We will have another show later on this afternoon. And also, I got to show you something really quick. This could be happening too today. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it live on X and then record it and upload it. Not the show, but this right here. If you guys pay attention to X, we were tagged in something and we were called out in something. Let me see if I can find it right here. Let's see.
By the way, Trump is your president. Yes, he is. It's my turn, and then it's going to be Mama's, and then Olivia, and Chloe's going to laugh the whole time.
I am going to enjoy
All right,
this.
so again...
you can't be close to the spider. It's fine. Olivia.
It's okay. So I nominate, again, Will Johnson, Josh Wolfer, Oscar Ramirez, Anthony Agredo, Tyho Decker, Parker Sig.
Oh my gosh.
Who
He's
else?
gonna hate you.
Who else am I?
Fire you.
And everyone at Real America's Voice News who has the nerve, the guts to do it. You guys are all nominated. All right. Chloe, who's filming?
And Katie nominated you yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Katie nominated me yesterday. Chloe nominated me too, so I got double nominated. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Can you get it above my head? You could just do my lap.
Hold it.
I don't know if I should close my eyes. I might have to catch something.
Hold your hand underneath this part.
You've been working out.
Underneath the rim, Mom. I wanted this entire thing. She's laughing.
I should just push it over.
Underneath the
I should
rim.
just push it over.
Right here.
We might do
So you might be in store for something today if I have time. I'm working on it right now. We'll find out who we're going to call out, and we'll do that. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you want to help us out and donate to the cause, you can go to Venmo at Oreo Josh, Cash App, $Oreo Army, GiveSendGo.com/Oreo 2024. As well as we have Zelle link on our website, theoreoexpress.com. There's a donate now button with all our links. We appreciate you, and we will see you guys a little later. And if you can't make it to the next show, have a blessed weekend, and we will see you soon. God bless.